Hello and welcome to my May wrap-up, where I wrap up the books that I read in May. May was kind of a weird reading month. I had set out to read the Harry Potter series and it didn't exactly work out. As much as I want to eventually finish the series, it was feeling a bit of a chore. I read a total of 7 books in the month of May, and sadly not all of them are Harry Potter, only one of them are. So as I wanted, I set out to read Harry Potter, and I read Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but it kind of took me a while to read. It took me like 2 weeks to read this book, and I was starting to get in a bit of a reading slump because of it. Just the fact that I'm trying to get through this and it just like, it wasn't feeling it. The second book I picked up is All I Know Now, Wanderings and Reflections of Growing Up Gracefully by Fletcher. I was reading this alongside the Harry Potter book, just like reading little bits and pieces of this. I wasn't feeling this as well. In fact, just around the time where I was finishing up Harry Potter, I was about like 60% through this book, and I was like, I need to put this down. I can't read any more of this right now. This book is more geared for teenagers, and I'm a little beyond the realm of teenage years. I mean, kudos to Carrie for writing a book. I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people who haven't figured things out yet, but as a grown adult, I just wasn't feeling it. I did pick it back up because my OCD did not let me not read it, like not finish it. The next book I picked up, Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and I read this in about a day. I really like this book. I can't wait to get my hands on Scarlet next, and it was a really good read. It helped me get out of my reading slump fast, just because the story was really captivating, and I really liked the parallels of like Sailor Moon in my head. That's what I was thinking about. And I'm like, I know this is a Cinderella retelling, but I had parallels of Sailor Moon stuck in my head, and I loved Sailor Moon as a kid. So I really liked that a lot. Next, I picked up Billy and Me by Giovanna Fletcher. I had started reading this in February, and I was about like maybe 80 pages in, maybe not even that. I was on chapter 3, I believe, but I wanted to finish this book just because it was really bugging me that I had put it down and hadn't picked it back up yet, and I'm really glad I did. This book, it made me cry. It wasn't really the romance between Billy and the main character Sophie. It was more of the relationships that Sophie had with like her mother and her good friend Molly. Just the relationship and what happens in the story. I was crying, and it was a good cry, and it just reminded me of like the relationship I don't have with my mother anymore because she has passed, and just it brought back a lot of emotions and feelings, and I'm glad I finally picked up and finished this book. Even though I was a little skeptical because it's like a romance, but I really enjoyed this book. Now these next few books you will be seeing in my May book haul, because I could not wait to read them because I've been hearing so much about these books on BookTube. So the first book I picked up was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, and I really enjoyed this a lot. It took me a couple days to read it just because I took my time, and I like this cover because she's so badass, and then on the back there's like her in a dress. I really love just the sassiness of Selena and her going through the motions, and it really was kind of bugging me. Just the Kale was being all, I don't trust you, you're an assassin. She's like, I just want my freedom, yo. I definitely will be picking up the next book in the series and reading it. I cannot wait. I really love the world that it's in, and I hope to see more of it, just the political standpoints of the different nations and the conquering nation part. The next book I picked up was Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. I really like this. I read this in about a day as well. They made this book smart in the fact that they didn't give you the whole story, and they're like, oh, you want more? There's another book, go get it. I'm a big fan of the X-Men movies, and I really like Rogue, which reminded me of the main character Juliet in this book. The fact that she cannot touch people without causing immense pain. I really want to see where this series goes. And I know there are like in between novellas of the point of view of the main villain, which I forget what his name is because I read it like a week or two ago. I don't remember names. The last book I picked up was The Selection by Kiera, and I felt like this was a bit of a guilty pleasure just because it's all about, you know, a nobody trying to become a somebody. Yeah, I really like that just because it's like anyone who can become a princess and seek favors, and like just I really like this book a lot. Oh, I still have a bookmark in it. The next book in the series is definitely one that I'm going to pick up again soon. Like, there's so many books I need to get a hold of, and I love them. I just love them. Oh. So those are the books that I completed in the month of May. I am in the middle of reading 3 books. I've been trying to do this like multiple reading of multiple books kind of thing. The first one is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is part of the little book club that we're reading for the months of May and June. I'm taking my time with it just because I know I have about 2 months to read it. I picked this up about 2 years ago and started reading it, and I never finished it because, you know, me and books, it's weird. So I'm really picking this up again and enjoying it. I mean, it seems a little daunting because I dropped the book. It seems a little daunting because it is the Maas paperback version and it's just like a lot of pages. There are some scenes in this book where I've just been like, what? It's definitely a weird read. The other book I'm reading is Blood and Other Cravings, edited by Datlow. It's an anthology full of vampire and other stories. It's original stories of vampires and vampirism by today's greatest writers of dark fiction. So I've been reading a couple stories here and there, just taking my time with it as kind of in between stories. So like I'm not too far into that, but I've read a good deal of stories from it already and I'm enjoying it because, you know, I love vampires. The other book I'm in the middle of reading is actually a manga, and that is Death Note. I have the Black Edition, Volume 1, which contains Volume 1 and 2 of the manga series, and I picked this up because I really like Death Note. I've seen the anime and the live action movies, but I'm still on the fence when it comes to graphic novels and manga, just because I'm not really getting the emotion that I get out of books with these, because I'm focusing on the words and I'm just not getting like the connection between the words and the feelings and what's happening in the scene. It's weird. Plus I have to use extra brain powers to read this because I'm reading it backwards. Like, I'm not used to reading a book backwards. But yeah, I will eventually finish this. I don't know if I'm gonna get the rest of the series just because I'm still on the fence with mangas. So that is all for my May wrap-up video. I don't really have any TBRs for the month of June. I usually read what I like to read when I like to read them. I haven't really figured that part out yet with this booktube thing. Stay tuned for my May book haul, which should be coming out soon. I did buy a few books, even though I said I wasn't going to. I have no self-control. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to see more videos from me. I'm currently doing book videos. Could be doing other videos in the future, who knows? But for now, you're getting book videos, which I am enjoying a lot because I am reading a lot. So until next time, bye! That was a really weird bye, just so I don't usually say bye like that. I'm usually just like, see ya.